Something that I heard Eckhart Tolle talk about one time, he's actually talked about this several times. He calls it the spiritual ego, right? And I mean, that sounds like an oxymoron at first. And by the way, what he's talking about when he says the word ego, he's using the word ego in the clinical sense, right? Not the pejorative sense. So in other words, the word ego, it kind of has two meanings. One of them is the pejorative, which is like if you tell someone, well, you got a big ego, what you're basically saying is that they're arrogant, right? The other kind of meaning of the word ego is the clinical, technical meaning of the word, which is the thought and emotional mask, the sense of self, personhood, personality, right? This is one of the first things that people who enter spiritualism, real spiritualism, right? Genuine spiritualism, the first thing you're going to learn is, you're not a thinker. You're not thinking, you're not emotion. We're not saying those things are bad, but that's not really who you are. That's the illusion of self, the me, the person, the mask, right? And, it's not that hard to understand. So here's an example I always use. If I was to walk up to you on the street and you go, "Hi, nice to meet you. How are you? Tell me about yourself." You're going to tell me kind of a story. You're going to give me a history, right? You're going to tell me what you do for work, who your family is, your friends, your hobbies, your interests, political beliefs, I don't know, whatever, right? And it's all a bunch of retained thought and emotional patterns, concepts, emotions. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. That's just what that is. It's the mask of self, right? The real self, the real you, is the consciousness. Consciousness is not thought, right? Okay. So that's what Eckhart Tolle is talking about. The true self is consciousness. That's spiritual. And again, spiritualism, what that really is the experience of self beyond mind. The experience of consciousness, and you don't think your way there. You just are consciousness, right? But there's people who have fallen into this trap, and it's a trap, guys. It'll stop your growth right away if you get sucked into this. If you really met your twin flame and you get sucked into this ideology, it's an ideology, guys. It's a religion. That's really what it is. It's a religion. If you get sucked into that, you're going to have a bad time. Because what you're doing is you're doubling down on this conceptual identity. And again, Eckhart Tolle has also talked about this several times. He calls it the spiritual ego. And again, ego in the clinical sense, right? The personality, the self, the mask of self, not the true self, which is consciousness. Okay? And so you're gonna see things like, essentially people who think spiritualism is a personality type, and you have to act a certain way and think a certain way, and you have to have certain beliefs, and you have to be doing certain things, taking certain actions, wearing certain clothes. You have to have certain spiritual tools, whatever. Like Catholics, for example, they're one of the most well-known religions that do stuff like this, right? And I don't have anything against Catholics per se, but this is just something they do. It's, they have like the beads and the rosary and the statues and the shrines, and they're very much into that, you have to have things, tools, in order to have a relationship with God or the divine or whatever, right? Essentially. And that's what New Agers do, basically, New Age, and they call it New Age spiritualism, but it's not consciousness. It's not really the experience of self, true self, consciousness. It's this personality type. And guys, I'm just going to say it. A lot of people are getting really kind of sick of it. A lot of people, I'm really happy to say that a lot of people are starting to kind of reject that, the whole personality cult of New Age. And I'm not sorry, guys. I'm not sorry. It can be very, very toxic. And it's these people who think like having crystals and sage, and there's not even anything wrong with that stuff on its own. Like me, like I read tarot cards. I do. And if you know what you're doing, it works, but I don't need that. I don't need it. In fact, I don't even use them that much in my daily life. I listen to this, guys. I go directly to God. I go directly to my soul. I don't need cards. I don't need crystals. I don't need sage. I don't need any of that shit, guys. I am whole and complete, right? And it doesn't matter, like what kind of a personality you have. Consciousness is consciousness, guys. Here's another example to explain the difference between consciousness, which is spiritualism, always has been, Buddha, Jesus, Yogananda, right? Paramahansa Yogananda, Hare Krishna, Krishnamurti, Ram Dass, Alan Watts, Rupert Spira, Eckhart Tolle, Michael Singer, John Kabat-Zinn, Gangaji, Charlotte Jocko Beck, right? All the big names, the masters, the people that are like Buddha and shit, Yogananda, right? Those guys are never going to tell you that you need crystals or that you need healing. You can do that stuff. They'll tell you it's fine. You're not hurting anything, but you don't need it. And it's not spiritual, those things. Those are objects. Those are not consciousness. Okay? And that's what they're going to tell you. Spiritualism is the experience of self as consciousness. The big names in spiritualism, guys. This is what, you don't have to even believe me, you guys. You can go to those teachers and they're going to tell you exactly what I'm saying, guys. And again, people are starting to wake up to this, the whole New Age bit, and they're fucking getting sick of it, man. And I'm not sorry, dude. And the problem with New Age is it attracts the most toxic people. It's incredibly narcissistic about half the time. Half the people are actually perfectly nice people, but again, nice enough people that are getting sucked in. It's like the what's the saying? The blind leading the blind or something like that. And I'm not attacking anybody. I'm not judging. These people are souls who just forgot who they are. Everything is perfection in the universe, guys. I know that whatever these organizations and institutions and ideologies are doing is part of the perfection of God. I don't judge, guys, but I do have discernment. And I don't want you guys to get hurt out there. You should have discernment. But discernment and judgment are not the same thing. You can look at something and go, hey, that's toxic, that's bad, that's misleading, right? Like New Age, right? Again, Eckhart Tolle talking about people who have a spiritual ego. It's like this personality type. And twin flames, this is a big problem in the twin flame community, you guys. So before I move forward and talk more about that, let me tie up kind of this loose end so that you're really clear if you're maybe having a hard time understanding me right now. Consciousness, the experience of the true self beyond mind. Another way to think about that, think about it, right? Look at it this way. You can't think about it. And that's kind of what you're about to learn, right? Okay. The personality, again, the ego mind personality, the mask of self, not really you, right? but what appears to be you. It's the illusory self, right? Okay, that is fully formed by the age of 7 or 8, right? That's what any psychologist is going to tell you. Okay, well, what about before that? Think about this. A newborn baby. A newborn baby. There's no thinking going on. There's no retained thought and emotional patterns. This sense of identity, this ego mind that we carry with us, right? There's none of that. Brand new newborn baby, 1 or 2 days old. What's going on inside the baby? It's just empty? Just nothing? No, guys. Awareness, consciousness, the soul. That's the soul, guys. That's the true self. By the way, that's your twin flame. Ah, right. You got to go there, guys. And here's the interesting thing about that saying. They call this non-duality, the teachings of non-duality, right? Because the mind is kind of this yin and yang, this duality, right? But consciousness is non-dual. It's not duality. It's single. And science, the discipline of science, even has terminology. We're all talking about the same thing, right? So science has their own terminology. So like the mind and the universe work on duality, relativity. And then where the universe came from, they call it a singularity. Guess what they call it in spiritualism? And it's non-dual. It's the one, right? You've heard of the teaching of like the yin and yang, the light and the dark, and you've heard the teaching of the one. There's the one, right? And you're like, what are they talking about, right? Is it light and dark, or is it the one? What is it? Yeah, that's what they're talking about, guys. Is this. And the soul, it works the same way. Works the same way from your perspective down here in density. That would be your experience of the soul, is just non-dual oneness. It's not two, it's just one, okay? In other words, there's no subject-object relationship. The mind perceives a subject-object relationship. That's what the word separation is, by the way, in the Zen traditions. Ram Dass is always talking about it. Separate, the mind is separation. Rupert Spira, he calls the personality, the ego, he actually calls it the separate self. Okay? And then the soul is union. It's not a relationship status with your twin flame. The soul is just called union or unity consciousness. And you might be sitting there going, really now? Yes, really. That's where those words really came from, you guys. And this is why and again, before I go more deeply into today's topics, I'm going to go a little bit deeper with you guys and kind of give you some tips and things to avoid and how to avoid this. Because you guys, if you get sucked into this modality of kind of the new age version of twin flames, and you make being a twin flame like a personality trait, you are going to have a bad time, guys. And I'll give you some examples, man. It is not a good idea. It's not a good idea to do that. And anyway, if you do that, your twin flame is going to run harder because you're approaching this through the mind. You got to go to the soul, guys. Well, anyway, let me give you a couple of quick resources. There's a video that I did. I'll link it in the description of this video. It's called Twin Flames, Separation Consciousness, Unity Consciousness, and Detaching. So separation, union, and detaching, right? It turns out that twin flames borrowed those words probably back in the 1950s. As far as I can tell, the earliest paper records that I can find about this stuff for twin flames is from the 60s, the 1960s. So I'm thinking probably the 50s is when somebody kind of figured this all out. And they said, I just have to take the teachings of transcendental spiritualism and apply it to my twin flame situation, and it worked. How about that? Now, the internet, oh my God, guys. Anybody can say anything they want to say online, guys. The internet comes along in the 1990s, gets a hold of the teachings and mixes it all up, and now nobody remembers the original teachings. Everybody's just using these words, separation and union, like it's a relationship status. And it's just monkey see, monkey do. Nobody questions it, but I did. And it wasn't very hard to figure out where those words really came from. That's not a relationship status with your twin flame, guys. Have you ever, when you're dating somebody, have you ever said, I'm in union with my boyfriend or girlfriend? No. So why do twin flames do it? Right, so go check that video out. It's called Twin Flame Separation Consciousness, Unity Consciousness, and Detaching. So I can tell, guys, if somebody gets onto my YouTube channel and leaves a snotty comment, I either block them or I pin them to the wall of shame, right? And again, I don't do this because I'm like all hurt, like I'm all butt hurt, like you hurt my feelings. Ooh. I don't care, guys. If someone wants to say mean things about me, go for it, dude. But I'm going to contrast the way that I do things with the way these New Agers do things. And again, guys, I'm not sorry. If you think I'm attacking New Agers, well, I don't know if attacking is the right word, but warn you, yes. It's a cult. C-U-L-T. Yep, you heard me right, guys. New Age is a cult ideology. That's what it is. And when you look at, by the way, the two people on Netflix whose name I will not use, they say that they are twin flames. No, they're not, first of all. And I'm not just saying that because they're assholes. I'm saying that because they're not twin flames, dude. They're like soulmates or something. They call themselves twin flames. It's a cult. There's a documentary about them on Netflix. They're running a cult. And people who probably are actually twin flames are getting sucked into their system. It's a cult, guys. And of course, what they're teaching people, it doesn't work. They do the most bizarre shit, by the way. And when I see people like that, when I see those two people, they call themselves twin flame coaches, right? I look at that and I think, well, what did you guys think was going to happen? You know what I mean? When you see the kind of toxic, dogmatic, idealistic ideology that's just the average kind of twin flame messaging that you're going to get on the internet. Look at your screen. If you are not already looking at your screen right now, guys, let's just be real for a second. This is what people say twin flames are. You know, you notice that? Like, I'm serious. If you go to Google images, do a Google image search and you type in twin flames, you're going to get this shit all day long. And you're going to get the two cult leaders too. Right? It's a cult, guys. It's a cult. And I'm not afraid to say it. It's a cult. I have free speech. I can say that. In my opinion, it's a cult. And it's not very hard to figure that out. And my point is, guys, when you see the average kind of twin flame messaging that you're getting from the internet, what did you think was going to happen? What did everybody think was going to happen? Of course you had those two. And I'm telling you, you guys, half the people that subscribe to this weird New Age cult, not even twin flames, but just generally New Age, which is not spiritualism. It's not spiritualism. Guys, half the time you have kind of a negative experience with these people, don't you? They're the most arrogant, judgmental, stuck up. So I'm going to put on, I'm not sorry, guys. I'm not judging. I'm not triggered. I'm trying to warn you. I'm trying to warn you guys. I'm trying to do my fucking job. I'm trying to help you be with your twin flame. And you got to avoid these people, guys. You're not bad for noticing toxic behavior and having boundaries. And again, anybody who attacks me, like if somebody sees what I'm talking about right now and attacks me, I bet you $1 million they're a narcissist. Because that's exactly what a narcissist is going to do. If you notice somebody who is being toxic and you put a boundary there and then they tell you that you're bad for doing that, That's gaslighting. That's gaslighting. Okay. So I'm going to put this person up on the screen. This person commented on one of my videos a few weeks ago. Be careful putting comments, and again, I'm going to leave the comment on the screen for a long period of time here, probably about a minute. I want you to really look closely at it. You can even pause the video and just read it. Read what I said to this person. But be careful, guys. Be careful, like, saying things on the internet, because I am allowed to repost your comments. It's not illegal or anything like that. It's a public space. If you say stuff on the internet, dude, in a public space, be careful. But I was nice enough. I don't have to do this, guys, but I did blot out her face and her name. And she put her whole name, her actual name. Be careful, guys. But I pinned her to the wall of shame. And as you can see, there were already people. Nobody clicked like on her comment. A lot of people clicked like on my comment. And I'm not saying that to be like, I'm badass. Look at me. No, guys, it's because what I'm saying is logical. The response that I gave to her is reasonable. And I didn't even attack her. But she definitely attacked me, didn't she? Isn't that interesting? And she even put the little emoji with like rolling your eyes. And all I did in the video was I said, yeah, crystals aren't really spiritual. I just like them because they look cool. I don't know if they do anything. Maybe they do. But they're not really spiritual. You don't need them. It's fine if you have them, though. I said that. I said that in the video, right? And obviously she was very not very nice, huh? Was she pretty snotty in her comment? And guys, I don't do that. When I answer people on social media, you guys, I'm telling you right now, in the comments of this video, you could put in the comment, you could put the toughest question. You could, I'm gonna poke holes in what Kurt's saying. Yeah, what do you think about this, Kurt? Yeah, I got you now, right? You could ask me the toughest question, and I'm just gonna answer you. And I'm gonna give you a logical answer, and you're probably gonna go, oh yeah, right? Because I've been doing this for a long time, guys. I've seen it all. I've answered every question there is. I know what I'm doing up here, guys. And again, how can I say that? Because I listen to the masters. Buddha, Jesus, Yogananda, Krishnamurti, Eckhart Tolle, right? Ram Dass. And they're all going to tell you, yeah, you don't need crystals and you don't need healing. If you want crystals, no problem. If you want to do healing, okay. But healing is not how your soul aligns, guys. And this is the other thing that is, you're going to see this a lot with like New Agers. And again, it's like way worse in the twin flame spaces, guys. Way worse. Way, way worse. And they make it into an identity. They make it into a personality type. I am a twin flame. Look at me. Yeah, I'm cool. I'm hip. I'm one of the cool kids now. I'm hip and trendy, and I'm cool. I'm a twin flame. Look at me, everybody. And then it's the people that are doing that. You can tell they didn't meet their twin flame. It's somebody who was already one of these New Agers. Okay? It's a cult. Again, look at the two people on Netflix. Look at what they're doing. Go watch the documentary, guys. It's fucked up, man. It's an ideology, you guys, and it's really bad. It's really bad. And again, I'm happy to say I've noticed a lot of people are really getting sick of it, you guys. There's a lot of pushback against this kind of crap. And what's interesting about these people, these New Agers, is they're going to tell you all day long how you need crystals and sage and all this, and fucking incense and tarot cards and astrology, which again, on their own, those aren't really bad things, but it's part of their identity. They've made it into a spiritual ego. It's another layer to add to the personality, the mask of self, which in real spiritualism, you're trying to escape from that, okay? You're trying to leave that behind. But that's not what these people are doing. They're adding another layer to the mask of self, to the illusory self, right? By going, I am spiritual. It is my personality. And you can tell that they think it's a personality type because they're doing all the healing. You have to have all these crystals and beads, and you have to do spiritual looking things, and you have to say spiritual things and act spiritual. It's got nothing to do with consciousness. Again, consciousness is not thought, it's not emotion, it's non-dual. It's being. It is existing. That's it. It's existing. And that sounds abstract because it kind of is. And that's about the closest you're going to get to explaining it with words, guys. That's why meditation is so important. Because you experience yourself as the one, as this deeper being. And the mind and the personality actually become the object of your conscious awareness, not the other way around. That's why, again, you can't heal your way into the soul. So that's psychology, thinking different thoughts, feeling different feelings, changing how you think and feel, psychology, healing, right? Which, again, on its own is totally great, totally fine. I've done it before too. I was working out family issues, like with my parents and stuff. I was already with my twin flame. I did zero healing to be with my twin, guys, and I've helped thousands of people to be with their twin flame. Thousands. I got a whole playlist. Go check it out. It's called Twin Flame Success Stories. Go check it out, guys. And they didn't do any healing. So that's an oxymoron. You can't think your way into consciousness. Thinking came after. Remember, the newborn baby. Which came first, consciousness or thinking? Consciousness. So that's another problem. And again, the thing about it that's so weird, like people that believe that, these New Agers that believe in that kind of stuff, they also recognize the great spiritual masters as the great spiritual masters. Buddha, Jesus, Hare Krishna, Krishnamurti, Yogananda, Eckhart Tolle, right? Ram Dass, okay. They recognize that those are the great spiritual masters, right? But then they teach you something that the spiritual masters would never tell you to do. And they would actually tell you, you don't need to do that stuff. Can you imagine Yogananda and Eckhart Tolle lugging around a bunch of crystals and shit, working on their fucking childhood wounds? You'll never hear Eckhart Tolle talk about that. He's going to tell you it's not necessary. You can do that if you want. Yes, it's optional. There's nothing wrong with that. But it isn't spiritualism, guys. And by the way, this is very important. Psychology, it doesn't even work without the consciousness first. Even my psychologist, when I was talking to him to work out family stuff with my parents and stuff like that, right? He's an atheist, by the way, which is totally fine. And the reason that's totally fine, he was a great guy. He was a really cool guy. But he just happened to, he happened to be an atheist. But what's interesting about that is he told me to do mindfulness meditation. Really now? Yeah, because even an atheist psychologist is looking at how mindfulness meditation is effective in a clinical psychology practice. Even he saw that it worked. Now, I don't think he understands why it works, right? Because he doesn't even believe in God or anything. But hey, even he sees that it works, right? And again, meditation is not thinking. You're actually, you're doing everything you can during meditation to like look away from thinking completely. Disengage from thinking and emotion, okay? In meditation, right? And that makes any kind of psychological practice or healing, as they call it in the New Age cult, it makes it work better. You can't put the cart before the horse, guys. You are consciousness first, and you got to make that primary. That's spiritualism, nothing else. Nothing else. I'm going to put an internet meme up on your screen right now. And that says it all, guys. I'm going to leave it up for about 10 or 15 seconds. Long time. That says it all. Spiritualism is not a personality type. You can't go to the store and buy things and be spiritual. You can't have certain, even political beliefs. It's like, to be New Ager, you have to be of like a certain political stripe. You ever notice that? That's an identity, guys. That's a personality. That's all thought and concept, which is the exact opposite of what the great spiritual masters are teaching you, which again, the New Agers recognize as the masters. How can that be? Do you guys even know what these guys are saying at all? I don't know, guys. I don't know. It's the blind leading the blind. And again, I'm not judging. I'm not judging, guys. The first chapter of this book, by the way, it's called You Are Not Your Mind. You Are Not Your Mind. That is numero uno. Untethered Soul, Michael Singer, same thing. He's going to start talking to you about how there's this ego. Come on, camera. It's getting all dark on me. There's this ego, the mind, yapping away at you all day long. It'll never shut up, right? And that's not you. That's not you, dude. Untethered Soul. Michael Singer, great book, guys. So watch out for this stuff, guys. Watch out for this stuff. It's toxic. They're going to gaslight you. They're going to tell you, you know, if somebody like me comes along and warns you about them, they're going to tell you, I'm bad and I'm arrogant and I'm insecure and blah, 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 blah. They're going to gaslight. I'm telling you guys, it's the percentage of people in these twin flame chat rooms, which is like New Age spiritualism on steroids. Okay? The percentage of them that probably haven't met their twin flame and it's just some toxic person that wants to boss everybody around is really high, guys. And I remember one time on one of my Facebook posts, I was kind of talking about that in my New World All-Star Facebook group. And I said, yeah, it's probably like 10 or 15%, maybe 20%, like a large minority of the people in these other, you know, New Age woo-woo twin flame groups. I don't allow that stuff in my group, guys. I don't. But in these other groups, it's really high. It's a high percentage. And there were people that responded to me going, no, Kurt, I think it's more like 80, 90%. And I was like, well, I didn't want to say it, but I'm sorry, you guys, but I'm not sorry. You have got to watch out for this stuff, you guys. It is toxic, and it's going to make your twin flame run harder. It's going to keep you going through the same cycles of suffering. There's twin flame coaches on YouTube that were there 7 years ago when I first started doing this, and they're doing the same fucking thing, guys. Healing, crystals, all that stuff. And their twin flame is nowhere to be found. They're just in a perpetual state of healing. And if you're in a perpetual state of healing, when can you ever be healed? Never. So, fuck all that. Leave that shit behind, guys. All right.